Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the elect. This is for the 12 tribes of Israel, who are today known as the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All this edification is going out to those of the elect of that nation who belong to them so-called races or their descendants upon the earth. If this hits you in the spirit, man, then you're a child of Israel, man, more than likely. This is Psalms 96 and 3. Declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all people. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. So this scripture allows you to understand that basically all the other nations' gods are idols, man. And he actually said he gave them the idols to worship, man. Okay? And the Lord of the heavens, man, Yahweh, is our power to be praised. He gave that unto us. He gave that he gave the children of Israel are to serve him. All right. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've done some research into a scripture I was a bit curious of, and the way I actually stumbled across it was because I read it in the wrong translation initially, and it kind of got me because I never ever remembered it saying that. Okay, so now this is scripture. This is Judges 8 and 21. Then Zebah and Nana said, "Rise thou and fall upon us, for as a man is, so is his strength." And I believe that's because, yeah, it says it there. He made his firstborn to raise up and slay the kings of Midian, but he didn't have the strength to do it. Basically, he weren't, he was scared, okay, because he was young. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Okay, so these are the Midianites, all right. Now, if you know anything about Midian, basically today the Arabs are basically a mixture of peoples, Ishmael and various descendants around that region, all mingled into one, and they're now named Arabs. The word Arab goes back to the Hebrew. Arab, which basically means mixed, okay? Or it's like the morning, the dawn in the morning, dusk, when it's mixing between the night and day, that's what it means, mix, okay? So these Arabs, okay, had ornaments, as they will be known today, had ornaments on the camels, man. And the word for ornament is this word here, Shah Ha Rana Ranayam. Alright, so let me get this now. I'm gonna look this up. Now, when you read this, it says the word as I pronounce it. It says moon, crescent, and ornament. It said plural, little moons, ornaments worn on the necks of men, women, and camels. Judges 8 and 21. All right. Okay. Let me just check this word as well. Okay. So basically, they had moons upon them. All right. Now I want to get this scripture because this is a scripture I initially read, and you see there, it says, Salakia. took crescent ornaments that were upon the necks of the camels. Crescent ornaments, alright? So, uh, I already read it in the ETOM, so it's there. Now, what I want to do is go into some information dealing with these facts, alright? So now first I want to start off, let's go crescent. A crescent shape also, sorry, a crescent shape is a symbol or emblem used to represent the lunar phase in the first quarter, the sickle moon, or by extension a symbol representing the moon itself. Okay, it says it is used as the astrological symbol of the moon and hence as the alchemical symbol for silver. It is also the emblem of Diana Artemis and hence represented virginity. Okay, Diana, the goddess of fertility, right? Artemis. Okay, yeah, that's the Roman equivalent of Diana, and hence represented virginity. Now, another thing to take into mind is the word moon, many, lunar cycle deals with a woman's menstrual cycle because the word menstrual goes back to the word moon. Okay, because women have their menstrual cycle in accordance with the moon as well. So that's their menstrual. So that's why it's closely associated with a feminine femininity, basically. Okay, and silver because the moon is in relation to the sun. The sun is masculine, and I believe I'm not even gonna delve into the alchemy because I don't know. I'll be going off what I believe, but let's continue. In Roman Catholic Marian veneration, it is associated with the Virgin Mary, Queen of Heaven worship all throughout, man. You seeing this? Queen of Heaven, man. So this is what the moon's all about, alright? And it shows you that the Arabs back there were worshipping the moon, man. Women worship. From the uses of Rufinal in mosques and also associated with Islam. And the crescent was introduced by chaplain badge Muslim chaplains in the U.S. military 1993. This goes into symbolism. Okay, the crescent symbol is primarily used representing the moon, not necessarily in particular lunar phase. When used to represent a waxing or waning lunar phase, crescent or increscent refers to the waxing first quarter, while the symbol representing waning. This is. I just want to get to the key points, man. In ancient association with Ashtar, and Diana is preserved in the moon as symbolism by a crescent. See, you see that Ishtar goes back to Babylon, and basically Ishtar was carried over into all these fucking pagan powers, so-called gods, or they're basically taken from one culture to the next and basically reinvented in accordance with the culture of the new, into everything that was surrounding the culture of the new, the plants and all that kind of shit. All right, so it's the Queen of Heaven worship 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and etc. Representing the female principle as juxtaposed with the sun representing the male principle, and Artemis, Diana being virgin goddess, especially virginity and female chastity, virgin goddess. And they said it was Mary had the same thing, was venerated in the Marian veneration was done by the same thing. Okay, in Roman Catholic tradition, the crescent entered Marian iconography by the association of Mary, the woman of Apocalypse. All right. Now remember, this is the same thing. When you deal with the Nicene Council dealing with Constantine, what do? They brought Mary into the mix. I lie. They basically took all the pagan worship and took put it upon to mix it with the Bible. Mary, with the woman of Apocalypse, described with the moon under her feet, on her head a crown of 12 stars in Revelation, which they butchered that as well because that's talking about um, the nation of Israel, man. The most well-known representation of Mary as a woman of the Apocalypse is a Virgin of Guadalupe. All right. So now it goes into some history. All right, about the Crescent Moon. Then you got Diet Ashtar and all of this. I'm not gonna go into this information, but let's move on. All right. Allah as a moon god. The notion Allah as a moon god had existed with certain currents of evangelicalism in the United States since the 1990s. The idea supposedly promulgated by Hugo Winkler in 1901 and proliferated by the publication of Robert Morey's book The Moon God Habal in Archaeology of the Middle East. Winkler and Morey both argued that Habal, the name of the moon god in pre-Islamic Arabic mythological, some Islamic commentators have refuted the idea as insulting. The use of the lunar calendar and prevalence of the crescent moon imagery in Islam is said to be the origin of the hypothesis, which again, going back to Judges 8 and 21, it reigns true, man. That's what they do. They carried on their paganism and they worship in such a fashion. Okay? So, crescent moon symbol used as a form of blazon. The word blazon means in heraldry. A blazon is a formal description of a coat of arms, flag, or similar emblem from which the reader can reconstruct the appropriate image. So it's basically like a coat of arms to show, you know, the meaning of something. Even the word blazon goes back to the French blason, shield. It was found in English by the, so basically it's a shield, okay? So it's their representation. And being the moon god, which is known as Allah, which they said they was refuted. Now we're gonna go into this, but mind you, okay, we're gonna build. We're gonna build. Okay. Now this is a meme, a picture, which says, "Who is this Allah?" It says Allah is the Arabian moon god, also known as Baal, Habal, or Molech. Muslims react with denial when you point out this was the god of the tribe Muhammad was born into. And remember, they had 360 gods. It tells you that in the book of by Rudolph R. Windsor from Babylon to Timbuktu. Alright? It tells you that. They have 360 gods and they worship one for each day. Alright? And the moon god being the main thing for them Arabs because the moon was highly revered. Hence why do they have those crescent moons on the camels. Okay? Children were sacrificed to this demon idol, and why the idol that is why the idol has its hands in a position with a fire beneath, like you can see there on this one. That's the crescent moon god of the Arabians, alright? A woman, and this is Molech. You can see blatantly the same thing, man. Okay? And the crescent, the horns, like you had on Diana, is the same thing. It's like a crescent. See? Alright. You know, it says, did Muhammad know this? Yes, Muhammad advised some women who asked him about the issue of dying children, of how Allah regarded the situation. Said, a woman whose 3 children die will be shielded by them from the hellfire. On that, a woman asked, if only 2 die, he replied, even 2 will shield her from hellfire. Okay, so now you know why Muslim mothers are willing to have their children die for Allah, and also why Muslims are unwilling for you to know the truth about the devil worshipping death cult of Islam. Okay, and all these religions outside of the truth are death cults. Now this is I'm gonna further reinforce this point. Now we're going into Igbo religion. Okay, there's an idol known as Allah. Okay, is the female Alusi deity of the earth, mortality, fertility, and creativity in Odinani. She is. Let me check out this word. Okay. She is the most important Alusi in the Igbo pantheon. In Odinani, Allah rules over the underworld and holds the deceased ancestors in her womb. Her name literally translates to ground in the Igbo language, denoting her powers over the earth. Her statue is grounded in herself. Allah is considered the highest. Okay, but look at the symbol: Python, Crescent Moon, and the name is Allah. Where do you think this goes back to, man? It's the same thing. The Igbos are the children of Israel, which left the land of Israel in 70 AD. They carried on all these forms of idols, man. Okay, she is often depicted with a small child in her arms, and the symbol is a crescent moon. God damn, that's too much, man. You see, it is believed that the souls of the dead reside in a sacred room. So you see, these things, this idol worship is real, man, and these things they're just reinforced. They're just brought anew in different religions, man. Okay. So as I started, man, Moon Crescent from Judges 8 and 21. So I pray you're edified, through the Spirit, and I say shalom.